Hello all, this is Jess from J Rose Alchemic Art, and welcome back to another video. This one is going to be slightly different, obviously, from most of my other videos that I have on here. Typically, I'm actually a small artist and nurse that usually comes up with, either let's draw, let's sculpt, paint, things like that. But we're doing something a little bit different for this video. I have had the same viewer ask me for a while now, since my last Gen Con video, to come up with my top 10 board games. So we're gonna do a top 20 instead, because that was really hard to come up with the top 10. So these are kind of in an order, but this is also based on my opinion. So obviously I'm not correct in any way. This is just me saying that I like these board games either because of the theme / art, or obviously because they're fun to play. So take that as you will. Obviously you will have your own list, but I figured I would come up with this before we head off to Gen Con next weekend. So, or at least by the time this video is posted. So anyway, I hope that you look forward to this one, but we'll go ahead and get right started with number 20. So starting off with number 20 here, we have Dixit. Dixit is a super fun, how to describe it best, almost like a card game, but you're kind of hoping to share your imagination with others. And by using these cards, you're hoping to match with other people. So from specifically the Dixit rulebook here, we have during each turn, a different player plays the role of the storyteller. They score points by making the other players guess their cards thanks to the clues that they give them. But this clue must be subtle, because if everyone finds their card, the storyteller doesn't score at all. So all the other players score by finding the storyteller's card and by attracting other players' votes thanks to a smart decoy card choice. The game ends when one or more players exceeds or reaches 30 clouds. That's basically on the game board here. I will show that here in a second. The player with the most clouds obviously wins. So yeah, essentially you're gonna play, the people who are the storyteller are gonna pick out a specific card, and that'll be the card that they're hopefully, it's subtle enough that you hope to have at least one person get it, but also not so hard that like multiple people get it, obviously, as we explained in the game rules there. But the artwork on these cards they are all so pretty, and that's probably why I like this game so much, because the artwork really inspires me myself, and it's just kind of fun to be helpful but also not super helpful. So you're kind of tricking people but also hoping to like get everyone to play on the same page. So very unique card game. I enjoyed this quite a bit, and there's lots of different versions of it, so if you can, definitely go check it out. Next up on the list, we have Clank Catacombs. I specifically like this version just a little bit better because I really enjoyed the theming. Essentially, again, coming from the official rulebook here, is a deck building game. Each player starts with their own small deck containing the same cards, but they'll acquire different cards during their turns. Because cards can do many different things, each player's deck and strategy will become more and more different as the game unfolds. Developing your deck and strategy is a key to success. So, during the game, you have two roles: to retrieve different artifact tokens, which we will have a little bit of. This is kind of how the board kind of plays out. So you have the initial part here where you know that there are fabulous prizes located here, but you're essentially going to be pulling different little pieces of the board to hopefully make a design down to the bottom to get to these things and make it back up to the top. So the other half of that is, though, you're obviously retrieving the artifact tokens, but you also have to escape the dragon by returning to the place you started, the crypt above the dungeon. And you're hoping to accumulate enough points with your artifact and other loot to beat out your opponents and earn the title of greatest thief in the realm. So again, I really enjoyed this one, mostly for the theming. Obviously there's lots of different things that you can pick up there. You have to fight different monsters. You're going to be picking up different cards to hopefully make your person better, so you can traverse deeper down into the catacombs, essentially, and hopefully find more unique prizes. So obviously there are little traps and things along the way as well as you're really hoping you don't pull up and show up when that dragon is out there, because he might just get you for trying to get into his lair. So a really fun and unique game, and again, art is super cool and I really enjoy it. So again, check out Clank if you can. Next up on the list here we have Myth. Super cute game. Again, we're gonna go over the rules here super briefly, but the players as mice heroes must travel to the castle of the Red Dragon, where one of them has to defeat the evil creature and recover the sacred cheese. Part of the reason I like this so much is because the cheese is so fun and cute. And it actually does feel like pretty solid. I don't know if it's 100% made of metal, but it's solid there. Anyway, the player who actually does this wins the game. So to progress on your journey, the players must draw cards from other players' hands one by one. When a player has decided that they have taken enough cards, they can decide to advance their hero on the game board. However, if a player draws an obstacle card, then the hero must stop and deal with the mishap and does not move that turn. When a player finishes their turn, whether they advanced or not, they may then redistribute any of their cards to the other players. Finally, to win the game, a hero must have one of the legendary cards, either a shield, a sword, or a fairy, very ironic, and then move on to the dragon's space to defeat him and save the sacred cheese. So again, really love the theming of this game. It's super fun. Your big dragon boy is going to be going right on top of the game board, and obviously everyone has cards. So again, these are out for everyone to see, but depending on how many players you have, you're going to be getting, a certain number of cards, and there might be less of the sword, the shield, or fairy. So beyond that, though, you know exactly like how many good cards there are, how many bad cards there are, and some are just kind of like blanks. So like this guy, he's not going to move you at all, but it's a safe card. This guy, however, is an obstacle. As soon as you pull one that has the skull on the top, you're done with your turn. You then have to redistribute your cards to the other players. So again, it's kind of a unique way to mess with your table friends and make sure that you can hopefully draw the stuff that you want, or you can just pass out all of your bad cards and like hold on to your good ones. So really is more of a strategy game. Obviously you have other good cards here, like the shield. Obviously you need that to advance and to be able to defeat the dragon, so it's kind of good to know where it is. But the game board is super simple. It has little pips to tell you exactly how many you need to move on to that space. So yeah, your goal is to obviously avoid the obstacle cards, but also pick up the good cards so you can continue moving forward and hopefully beat your friends at defeating the dragon. Very fun game once again, and it's a little bit smaller, doesn't take as long, so it's kind of a nice one as compared to like Dixit, and Clank is definitely a longer game, so things to think about. Next up on the list we have Kabuto Sumo. Again, this one is very simple, very quick to play through, so it's kind of a fun way to just, if you want to play something that you're waiting for like a bigger group, it's a good way to do it. So you are playing as individual insects, and they have sometimes unique powers. Essentially what you're trying to do is using the pieces in your inventory to push your opponents out of the ring to force them to use all their pieces before they achieve victory. Fight 1 versus 1 in a 3-beetle free-for-all or in a 2 versus 2 team battle. So again, yes, you'll be picking different cards and picking up little pieces, and your goal essentially is to pick up one of your pieces and to flick off some of your opponents. So super fun, very easy to play. I have obviously not set this up correctly, but I really do recommend it, again, because the style is super cute, it's a fun game, and it's quick. So definitely try it out. Next up on the list we have Sushi Roll. Another cute, fun game. I really enjoy it, and we'll briefly go over the rules super quick here. The game is played over 3 rounds, and during the round, each player selects dice, which we have here, one at a time from their conveyor belt to keep on their tray. After each selection, the conveyor belt moves around the table and all the dice are re-rolled. When all dice have been taken, the round ends and players score their dice. Whoever has the highest score after 3 rounds wins. So again, pretty easy game. You have your actual tray here, so it tells you how many points are worth each thing. So for me, I always like to go for the puddings because they're super cute, but that's just me. Obviously, that's not always the greatest strategy. And then you have your conveyor belt. So this is what you'll be taking one of the dice that, you know, we have rolled, and then you'll be putting it on your tray and then leaving the rest for the rest of your group. So they will take whatever they would like from the amount that has been rolled. Obviously, you're trying to score the highest points. So again, not a super complicated game, very fun, and I really enjoy the art style with like all the little sushi pieces having little smiley faces or things like that. It's just super cute and nostalgic to me. So again, make sure to check this one out. Next up on our list, we have Histrio. If I'm saying that correctly, I might not be. Again, this one is definitely a unique game, and honestly, the theming and kind of the art of it really reminded me of like the scene in Final Fantasy IX where obviously the band of thieves essentially is trying to put on a play in the beginning. So if you played it, this might remind you of that, but it's a very similar idea at least. Essentially, each year at court, an event is held which sends ripples throughout the world of theater, the Munificent Theatrical Festival. Troops from the far reaches of the kingdom present their shows, hoping to win the favor of his lordship, the King Leonis the 14th, who presides over the festivities. Each year, everyone wonders what state of mind the king will be in. Will he be in a joyous and laughing mood? Is he expecting a light and funny show, a comedy which will fill his heart with happiness? Or quite the opposite, will he be gnawed by melancholy, and thus be more affected by a deep and dramatic play, a tragedy which will reveal to him the depths of the human soul? Those who know how to satisfy his expectations will leave with a light heart and a coin pouch filled with beautiful, I don't know how to say that word, so we're not going to mess up on the internet, which will then be enough to ensure their theatrical adventures for another year to come. So, essentially, you are playing with your friends, or whoever you are playing with. You're going to be choosing places on different castle areas to be traveling around, obviously. You're going to be hopefully successful in making the king happy with whatever performance you're putting on, but the goal essentially is to continue to play and make the most money. Essentially, that's how you make points. Obviously, if what you're trying to do is you're also trying to go to these different locations, so if you already have one of your little tokens here like on a specific castle, then you're not able to go there until we end up clearing the board. If you go to the same place as another person, then you kind of cancel each other out and no one is able to really take the win of that round. But again, I might not be doing the best job explaining it, but because of the art and the theming, I just really love this one, and it just reminds me a lot of Final Fantasy IX. So if you have a chance, I would recommend you checking it out. Next up on our list is kind of a 2-for-1 almost. We're going to start with Tidal Blade's Banner Festival. Again, I really enjoy the theming of this. The art is super beautiful. And again, if you know me, then you know I'm a video game person. But I really think that it reminds me of like Final Fantasy X and like the whole world of Spira. So yeah, obviously I really enjoy like the game board, the little pieces. You're trying to collect different fruits. And your cards that you have are very unique. The characters have some really fun designs, and you're essentially trying to get the most points, obviously, but we'll start off with the explanation here. So, over a series of 3 days, you will compete for sales in each of the city's quadrants, making the best of your available merchandise. Striking deals will let you grab location bonuses and hang your banners proud and high. Play your cards right, and you might also gain access to influential Navarians. I'm sorry, I'm not good at that. Or boost your wealth in the race with perfectly timed stunts. Each round, profit will be spent based on banner majorities in each region. The player who accumulates the most profit by the end of the game wins. So essentially, you are trying to go along with the Banner Festival here. You're kind of like an up-and-coming merchant, and you're trying to become like the most popular in town and obviously sell your wares. So you're selling them on the docks, befriending the right suppliers, and making your bets at the watercraft race. So there are lots of different opportunities, hi Princey, to make a lot of different points. So again, because of this one, I really enjoy the theming, and sorry, the boy is very much messing with the camcorder right now. But yeah, it's a very fun time. And I, again, really enjoy the art and the theme of this one, which we'll move into the original Tidal Blades. I've not officially played this one like to the end, but again, it reminds me so much of Final Fantasy X with like the world and the art and design. So hold on just a second while I pull that up. So the next one that is also part of Tidal Blades is the original Tidal Blades Heroes of the Reap. So again, I have not played this one completely, like completed the whole game, but just the art and the world and everything around it makes me so happy. It just really reminds me of Final Fantasy X. So I believe with this one, the goal is obviously to try and compete. It's been 15 years since the Great Battle, 15 years since our esteemed engineers from the Citadel of Time made their wrenching decision and created the Fold. 15 years since the last assemblage, the ultimate sacrifice of the Tidal Blades. Time and space were twisted into a powerful barrier to stop the onslaught of creatures from beyond the reefs, but today the hard-earned peace is coming to an end. New monsters are ripping through the fabric of time, and the islands need protection once more. A tournament has been called, the arenas are ready, and contestants are now gathering from all over the island realm. To convince the judges of your potential, you will need to train day and night, compete in challenges held in the 3 arenas, and rise to the top of the champion board. You have 4 days. Will you do what it takes to prevail and join those truly worthy of the title of Tidal Blades, Heroes of the Reap? So, again, I have not played this one completely, but there's like even an almanac for like everything that you can do, like all the different cards that you have. Essentially, you're just trying to complete challenges, so hopefully, again, you can earn the most points. In various places, you're going to be traveling to various places across the map. But hopefully, you will be able to succeed so you can become a hero of the reap. So, I would say I recommend it based on the art and theme alone, but obviously that's not always the best. So, up to you if you decide to try it. The Banner Festival is a lot more simple and it's easier to do than this is a lot. There's a lot of components to this and understanding, but I would still at least recommend looking into it and checking it out if you can. Next up on the list, we have King of Tokyo. Again, I feel like this one is like pretty easy to play. The theme is super fun. Obviously, it's almost kind of like Godzilla where you're going in and out of Tokyo to essentially take over the city. So basically, it's a game for 2 to 6 players where you play as mutant monsters, rampaging robots, or even abominable aliens battling in a fun, chaotic atmosphere. You'll be rolling different dice and choosing your strategy. Will you attack your enemies, heal your wounds, improve your monster, stamp your path to victory? So essentially, you are trying to become the King of Tokyo. So you have different characters that you can pick from. I obviously particularly like these two because they're very Halloween themed. And hello, Princey again. But essentially, thanks, buddy. Essentially, you are going to be rolling with your die, rolling different colored die, and hopefully you're going to be continuing to build up stars, which is basically points. You can either win by getting rid of the rest of your opponents, and you can do that by going to Tokyo and becoming the essential king for a bit and attacking your other players, because otherwise you cannot heal until you are back outside of Tokyo City. So you also have so many hit points, and if you go down to 0, then obviously that's it. But on your die, you can obviously attack people, you can heal yourself, or you can gain lightning points, which, again, as long as you don't die, you can use those to get better cards, so that makes your character better. Again, pretty simple, fast game. I really enjoyed this one though. Again, mostly for the art because I really enjoy the pumpkin guy, and this guy kind of reminds me of Oogie Boogie. But other than that, I do think that it's a pretty fun game. So maybe if you have a chance, try it out. Next up on our list, this was actually kind of a hard one to decide between because both of the next 2 games kind of have a similar-ish theme. Kind of, at least in the game components, not so much in the actual theme of the game. But anyway, the next one we're going to be talking about is Men at Work. I really enjoyed this one. This is a super fun one, especially if you're playing with a group of friends who may or may not have the most steady of hands. So essentially, on the site, construction companies have their workers erect new buildings, girder by girder. If you cause an accident and something falls down, you will lose a safety certificate. You have so many, obviously, to keep playing the game. The winner is the first player to collect the required number of Worker of the Month awards. Alternatively, if there's only one player left with at least one safety certificate, he is the winner. So, essentially, you're going to be constructing your construction zone. And again, this one is very fun because you're going to be playing different cards that kind of tell you what exactly you need to place. So what'll happen is you flip up your next card. So either you have to play a transporting brick, or because this is going to be what's on the next card. So you have to essentially follow the scheme of what is on the back of the card. So for this one, you're going to be transporting one brick on either a black or a purple beam. So you have to be able to hopefully place a new beam with someone holding a brick. So it can be kind of difficult. Obviously, you're trying to keep everything steady as you place new things around the construction site. But if you are unsuccessful and you knock everything over, then the person next to you has to use the hook to clean everything up, hopefully. And it kind of continues that way until hopefully either something falls over, or if you have Boss Rita, if she shows up in the middle of your game, then she's also going to be handing out Employee of the Month awards. So again, very simple game, really fun to play. Obviously, you're trying to put on either smaller things or trying to make sure that things don't get knocked over. So check it out if you can. One on our list is junk art. So not, like I said, it's kind of not quite the same theme, but the general idea is kind of there, I think, still. So obviously you have different components that you're going to be playing with, and essentially you're trying to make different art pieces potentially during your game. So the game overview says, junk art mixes a steady hand, balancing pieces, and a bit of luck. You will go on a world tour composed of city exhibitions. In each city, you will play turns where you place one or more pieces onto your structure. Depending on the city, you may also need to play or choose cards. No matter the city, the goal will always be to build the largest fan base and become a trend-setting junk artist by creating the tallest structure, having the last structure standing, and many more. So that is kind of the fun variability of this game, is obviously there's a bunch of different cities that you will be kind of constructing in. So you have your hometown, Amsterdam, New York, Montreal, Indianapolis, a bunch of different places. So again, I think that this one is super fun because I like the idea of like constructing a tire tower, or like trying to grab things the quickest, or things like that. And there's obviously lots of unique little pieces that you have to kind of figure out, gosh, how am I even going to make this? And then obviously there's even a small little measuring tape, which I think is super cute and fun to see for certain areas, like how tall your structure is. So I really enjoyed this one quite a bit. Again, the theming, and obviously you're kind of hoping to construct new art. I think that's very fun as an artist myself. So if you have a chance, look into that one. And that is actually the current video for now. I think this has been long enough, unfortunately. Sorry, I kind of rambled maybe a little, but I think that is kind of a good overview of my first 20 through 11 of my top 20 board games that I enjoy. Obviously, you can tell that I am very much a theme person, slash if I like the art, it's probably going to be a little bit higher up on the list. So for now, that is all that I have. Look forward to my top 10, so 10 through 1, as well as maybe some honorable mentions in the next video. But I hope that you enjoyed this. Please do let me know what are some of your top favorite board games to play with your friends or significant others, and look forward to more art making content. For now, definitely going to be in shorts, but also more videos obviously are going to be coming out soon. So I hope you all enjoyed this one. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.